Hi guys, it's Talisha, and this video I'm sharing with you today is me riding Izzy for the first time in a head collar. So the reason I chose to put her in a head collar was because I'd been riding her for about 1 to 2 weeks in a bit and just didn't think she was very comfortable in it. There were a lot of signs that showed me that she just wasn't happy in it, and after working with her on the ground in the head collar, doing a bit of long reining and finding out that her steering's pretty good in just a head collar, I thought I would give it a go. As you can see, when I first got on, she's a bit forward and a bit confused. She's never been ridden in just a head collar before, so this is very different for her. I just personally found she didn't like the pressure in her mouth. I don't know if it's because she's maybe had a bad association with it in her racing career. Bambi taking the limelight as always. But I noticed straight away as soon as I started walking her, she was so much more relaxed. She had a little bit of a moment where she tried to go into trot then. I just brought her back. I'm just trying to encourage her to stretch down a little bit. And I noticed straight away that she's not tense. She's so relaxed. There's no signs of tension or discomfort or anything. So I quickly realised that this was good for her until I was able to find the right bit for her. And the reason I say until I could find the right bit for her is because unfortunately to legally compete in dressage and showing, you have to ride in a bit. I do not agree with this because there are so many horses that go more comfortably bitless, and I believe Izzy is one of them. Every horse is different, and it's very strange how in show jumping you're allowed to go bitless, yet in dressage you're not. To me that doesn't make sense. You'd think you'd need, a bit more control in show jumping than you would dressage. You're not going as fast in dressage. You're doing a very controlled pace, not at high speeds. It just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, so I did actually ride Izzy in a head collar for quite a few weeks before finding the right bit for her. So since this video, unfortunately I did have a bit of an accident with her, and as you can see throughout this video, she just softens so much. She just gets better and better and better. I don't have any moments of her throwing her head, which I was having in the bit. She does not throw her head once, and I finally found a bit that actually one of my friends let me borrow. She had used on her thoroughbred, and it was a trust bit. It was the Inno Flexi Soft bit, I believe, something along those lines. Anyway, you can find it on the Bit Bank or the Bit Emporium online, which is where I was looking at it. And I put her in that and started her just off lunging in that bit. And she threw her head once on the lunge and then never again. And I do believe the one time she did throw her head was because she was expecting a bit of discomfort from the bit, and then quickly noticed that she didn't have any discomfort. There was not a little pressure spot or whatever it may be that she didn't like with the other bit. And the other bit I was using on her was a super soft 2-link Snaffle, which is what I ride Bambi in, and what Jep was in. Jep was in the rubber version of it. But yeah, so a very, very soft Snaffle, and it just didn't work for her. And I did read up that a lot of thoroughbreds do have issues with the 2-linked Snaffles, just because that's not really what they're used to. But anyway, this bit is amazing. It is so soft. It's perfect for sensitive horses, and it is amazing. You can bend it literally in half. It is that soft, and she just works amazing in it. But yeah, the reason I changed over to that a bit sooner was just because I did have an incident with her in the head collar where she bolted and we actually ran into the gate. Both of us came out fine. I had a bit of a dodgy foot. Well, I still do, honestly, about 3 weeks later. So the gate copped the blow of most of it, but my parents decided that I was to not ride her without a bit because they didn't like the fact that I didn't have as much control without a bit. So yes, and I understand where they're coming from. It was scary for them to watch. She hit the gate at extreme force and bent it really, really badly. So yeah, we found that bit. Luckily it worked really well for her, and I don't need to ride her in a head collar anymore. But as you can see, she's so happy riding in this, and this is only 2 weeks after coming back into work. So 2 weeks of riding that isn't on the track. 2 weeks education off the track pretty much, and she was so good. And the issue when she bolted, it was just a bit of a freak accident. She's such a sensitive horse, and she spooked at my leg when we were doing some leg yields at a walk, and yeah, and I got a bit tense, and because she's such a sensitive horse, as soon as I get tense, she gets extremely tense and nervous. She's a horse that you have to be very relaxed on, because she picks up on things so easy, and if she feels you're any sort of tensed or stressed or anything or worried, she really feeds off that, and that's what happened when she bolted, hence why it got to the stage it did. And this is her difficult side. Sorry, as you can see, I'm kind of throwing my right hand forward because I'm taking all of the contact away from her, because she just struggles to bend to the left. And this works really well, so that way there is no contact on that outside rein, and I'm just encouraging with my inside leg and inside rein to get her to bend around that way. But yeah, I was so happy with how well she went. I could not believe how quiet and how relaxed she was. I mean, I did expect her to be very quiet, to be honest, because she had been going so well on the ground in the head collar. But just the fact that she was so comfortable, she seriously felt like a different horse compared to when I was riding her in the Snaffle. So yeah, she was ridden in a head collar for about 2 weeks until I had my incident with the gate. But luckily I was able to find a super soft rubber bit for her that works just as well as the head collar does for her, which is great. And I will do another side note as well. As you can see, Bambi is in the middle of the paddock, and I do not recommend doing this. It's not really good to be riding with a horse in the paddock. However, I know Bambi very well, and it's actually better for Izzy and Bambi if Bambi is in the paddock when I'm riding, because otherwise if I lock Bambi up in the round pen or the pen, she gets funny and she paws at the fence and just causes stress for herself and for Izzy. And this way I'm just able to make sure Izzy's ride is as relaxing as possible for her, and she has nothing to worry about, because she is very sensitive, and she needs everything possible to make her feel relaxed. One of the biggest ones being the rider. So now this is the very basic starts of leg yield at a walk. She's gotten a lot better with my leg now at this stage. However, she does have moments, which you probably could see throughout the video, if my leg went on a little bit too soon or she wasn't expecting it, she would kind of jolt into whatever I was asking her to do. I always say this, but I've never ridden a horse so sensitive like her. It does take a lot of adjusting for me, and as well for her going into a different discipline, because she had no idea what leg pressure, like leg yields, and none of that. She had no clue. I had originally started this in the round pen, hence why she is showing some nice little steps of leg yield in these clips, because I have done them before. And yeah, I mean, a lot of the start of this video was me just making sure I had brakes, stopping, starting, going through transitions, and then cantering when I felt like she was ready. Now I'm just trying to get her to stretch down a little bit again. I've given her a little bit more rein, and am just trying to encourage her to stretch long and low, which is something she really struggles with. We don't have any of the long and low at the moment. It's still a work in progress. But she does show some moments occasionally of stretching down a little bit, but she is very set in her higher up frame, and that's just from how she would have been worked racing as well. When they work them in racing and on the track, they do work them round, and they are always worked in that higher, more collected for racehorses, I should say, frame, because it is not a dressage collection. It is very different. But yeah, they don't work them long and low, so that's something that you will find a lot of off the tracks really struggle with. And for those of you who don't know, or if you're new to my channel, I am a track rider, so I do a lot of track work, and have ridden a large variety of different racehorses, from breakers, pre-trainers, up into seasoned racehorses. So I do know how they're worked on the track, which has helped immensely with me taking on Izzy, because I know how she would have been ridden, and I understand where she's coming from with some of the aids that I am introducing to her and why they are confusing. Because especially circles, I'm doing a lot of circles with Izzy, and that is something very, very new to her. They typically don't do circles, well, small circles, apart from going on walkers. So sometimes they will do a trot, normally at most on the dry and sea walkers, but that is also not with a rider, and they are not encouraged to bend around your leg, which is something that a lot of racehorses will struggle with, especially bending in one particular way, because a lot of the time they are predominantly worked one direction due to the fact that they only race that one direction, depending on what state you're in and if they do race interstate. But anyway, that's enough about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed the little update on Izzy and what has been happening. If you want to follow me on my Instagram, which is just Talisha Beardsmore, you will see all of these updates. I keep everyone on there updated every single day when something happens, so I have posted all of this on my Instagram before, but just needed to fill you guys in. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Alright, bye!